Welcome to life on Earth, in the solar system, in the Milky Way, in the universe. Thanks to years of scientific and astronomical progress, today we're reasonably confident with what the physical structure of our reality looks like. There are maps of the universe to guide us, and we have telescopes pointed all over space, trying to better our knowledge even more. All in all, it's quite something to comprehend. The scale is already mind-blowing. But what's truly difficult to fathom is that it's all also shifting forever before our very eyes. So this is Unveiled, and today we're exploring the extraordinary claim that scientists know the universe is disappearing, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Do you need the big questions answered? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one, and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content.
Had you been alive some 13.8 billion years ago, then not only would your existence have been even more of a miracle than it already is, but you'd have been there to witness the beginning of all things, the Big Bang. As per the most widely accepted model, out of which all matter and energy spread in all directions to bring the universe into existence. Various scientists and theories claim to have tracked time back to within just the first few moments after the Big Bang. But so far, we remain fairly oblivious as to what was happening before it. What was there before there was everything? How did something come from nothing? These are deep ponderings at the heart of scientific study. But as well as being hung up on how we came to be, there's also the question of what will become of us. Where is all this heading? If you were the universe, what would your endgame look like? For this reason, astronomers are constantly peering as far out into space as they possibly can in search of answers. But ultimately, it appears their time for finding answers is actually running out, because the universe, it seems, is disappearing. The primary reason for this is universal expansion and the fact that it's accelerating. We've known for decades that the universe is expanding, and that stars, planets, and galaxies that aren't in our local group and therefore held by gravity are always moving away from us. But we've also known since the late 20th century that the rate of that expansion is accelerating, which means that more stars, planets, and galaxies are moving away from us with every passing second. In the time it takes for you to watch this video, thousands of cosmic objects will have moved thousands of miles further away. Scientists believe that the ultimate result of this is that one day in the far future, and if accelerating expansion continues, our local group of galaxies, including the Milky Way and Andromeda, should find itself totally isolated from all other galaxy groups. We should eventually be not so much cut adrift as stretched adrift from all the rest of space, with far darker skies set against an ever-deepening void. But how does that work? Really, the key thing that's happening here is that the universe expands at faster than the speed of light. You might reasonably ask, how is that possible? We know that a cornerstone of all physics is that nothing can move faster than light speed. That light speed works like an ultimate speed limit for all objects in the universe, from planets to particles. And yet, scientists are also well aware that stars are moving away from us at faster than that rate. Or at least, they seem to be. And that's because there's a crucial extra consideration to factor in, that while the speed of light still applies to all objects in space, it doesn't apply to the expansion of that space. Space itself expands effectively faster than light, so that it appears as though objects within it also move faster away from us. The most commonly used visualizations of this include imagining galaxies as though they're raisins in bread that's rising, or ants on a beach ball that's inflating. The raisins, or ants, don't move themselves, but they can still appear to be moving regardless. This means that when we study the universe, there's also a kind of outer boundary that cuts through it, beyond which we're genuinely losing touch with stars and galaxies forever. As entities of physical matter, the fastest we ourselves could ever hope to travel in one direction is still light speed, but even that isn't enough when set against the boundless backdrop of universal expansion. Even the universe, then, as vast, magnificent, and all-encompassing as it is, won't last forever from our point of view. At this very moment, there will be parts of it that have just slipped away from us. A few stars, or a couple planets perhaps, never to be seen again, no matter how advanced our technology becomes. From our perspective, an endless stream of objects is continually moving to that point beyond which we'll ever be able to retrieve them, and it will continue in this way unless the fundamental rules change, unless expansion slows or stops, for example, or unless universal contraction takes over. The current endpoint is quite straightforward to imagine then, even if it's also desperately lonely. But still, that endpoint, as lonely as it is, won't likely take hold until billions, perhaps even trillions of years into the future. Seeing as Earth itself might only survive for another 5 billion years or so, at which point the red giant sun may well consume it, what does it really matter to us? Well, naturally, we find ourselves experiencing just one part of the journey. And while it might seem a little dramatic to claim that the stars are going out, it is true to some degree. Again, whenever we look out into the universe, what we're also seeing is cosmic matter, stars, planets, dust, and objects that's continually moving beyond our reach. So we can also say that in the time it takes to watch this video, not only will thousands of objects have moved thousands of miles further away, but many of them really will have disappeared forever as well. And that's surely pretty significant. There's now just a little less of the universe available to us than there was before, and that's happening every day, all the time. Perhaps it's a part of life that's also a little bleak, but there's no need to panic just yet. As with most of the big questions about the universe, the reality is somewhat softened by the fact that it's still massive. It has been estimated that there are around 2 trillion galaxies out there in total. And although it's also been said that only around 5% of that 2 trillion are still accessible to us, that is, they still fall within the confines of light speed, we're still talking billions of galaxies, hosting billions of stars and planets that are still within the realms of physical possibility from our point of view. There's still so much cosmic matter out there that we can try our best to explore. So it's not as though all is lost. But what's your take on the matter? Does a disappearing universe frighten you? Or perhaps it inspires you to learn more about everything that is still reachable for us? Of course, there might yet be some sci-fi style innovations that one day provide a solution for all of this. The peculiar physics of wormholes, for example, might enable travelers to skip all physical restraints, to punch holes through the cosmos, and to emerge out the other end into galaxies that had previously disappeared from view. But in reality, we're still very far away from wormholes being anything other than a theoretical concept. Perhaps it's worth considering, though, the next time you look into the night sky, what you're gazing into really does go on forever. But also, what you can ever see of it will always be limited. And for as long as universal expansion continues to accelerate, then that limitation will inevitably take more and more of the cosmos away from us. It's a stark truth, a cold moment of realization, but it's also pretty mind-blowing, don't you think? And that's how scientists know that the universe is disappearing and there's nothing we can do about it.
What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from Unveiled, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for our latest content.